Okay, hello everyone, and good afternoon, good morning on whichever part of the world you are from. I see people from India and Malaysia, and I see some people from the UK as well, and US, of course. We have our speaker from there. Yeah, so welcome everyone for the today is our 27th session of the online Optom learning series. Before we begin, I would just like to brief you that and share with you a very good news, I would say on my upfront that now Optometry Learning Series, which is the OOLS, has been recognized by the Optometry Council of India, and we are now an accredited, recognized, CE provider, and all Indian optometrists who are members of the Optometry Council of India would get 2 credit points for each live session that you attended. And soon I think you will receive the certificate which we have displayed on the slides for each of the sessions. And we have also rolled out a Google form which should be on your email to help us fill up the details on which sessions you have attended. That would ease our burden to prepare your e-certs. And I think by the end of the month, we would probably send you out all your e-certs. Just a bit of information to share. To get these e-certs, we are now going on live sessions. So what I request you to do is, at the end of each session, we are going to roll out a Google form, which is actually a feedback come request certificate form, which I would request everyone to fill it up and submit it. So we will be sharing you a link as shown, and I would appreciate if everyone could give their feedbacks as well as answer some questions regarding the session. Very basic question, don't worry, it's not an exam. And please submit those forms, and once we receive those forms, only then we would be able to issue you your certificate. So these certificates are not only for the Indian optometrists, these are for anybody who joins the session, wherever from the world you belong to. If you have tuned in and if you have submitted our Google form, you will definitely get an e-cert which would, serve as a proof, or is kind of an appreciation that you have taken out the time and you learned something from our side as well. So, and also just a quick reminder, please join in using a valid email ID and put down your names there, so that when we create an attendance list, it would be much more easier from our side to prepare these e-certs and send it across to you. So let's not waste any much time further. Let me just get back straight to the talk today. We have our speaker. Let me just pull up my introduction, because there's so many things to remember about her. I need to type it out actually. So we have Ukti Vora. She's been our key speaker. She was our opening speaker for the online Optom learning series for the session 1. And it gives me a great pleasure to invite her again onto this platform on the first live session, which is accredited by the Optometry Council of India. So thank you very much, Ukti. I think you are our brand ambassador kind of a thing, which you come whenever you come and accept our invitation, we have something new to discuss. So thanks, Ukti. And just to give you a brief about Ukti, she has done her bachelor's, master's, she has done her MBA, and she's also a fellow of the American Academy. She currently is a director of a clinical affairs, which runs the telehealth, telehealth-based community in the US. And most importantly, I think I would like to focus on this. She's also the founder of a podcast series which we have shared the link on. She's the founder of the podcast series Nerdy Optometrists, where she interviews optometrists across the globe and gets their views. So I think it's quite interesting to hear those podcasts. I have been a part of one of the podcasts for her. And there are many other well-known people. I think you should go to her channel. There are many platforms. She just got a new platform where you can listen to her podcasts, and we have actually shared all the links to you. We will share the links again if people have not received. Please go and listen to her podcast. And let's welcome her. And today she's going to talk to us about IDEX changing the eye care delivery system because of the COVID-19. We are all under lockdown. So she's going to talk to us about how do we take up this challenge and do an eye care delivery for our patients. So thank you very much, Ukti. We are eagerly waiting for your talk, and I mean the session is yours.
Thank you so much, Fakhruddin, for all the kind words. And it's a pleasure to always be back on this platform, which I cannot thank you and your brother enough to do this, especially during the lockdown. Now, without any further ado, I'm just going to dive into the topic, the iTech. I really like this topic because for one very reason that things have changed a lot, especially as we're talking about during the COVID. Now, as we entered 2020, I'm sure everyone can remember the 1st January when we thought 2020 is the year of perfect vision. We're going to achieve so much. We're going to just talk about eye care, eye health, so on and so forth. But then I'm sure the lockdown happened. And even though we thought this is going to be the best year for eye care industry overall, we are all stuck at home. And when we talk about being stuck at home, I am sure you all are aware of a condition which we all are suffering from, which has been a term that is coined by our very own Nilesh Thite, webinaritis, a condition which all of you attendees might have been suffering from at some level. I do know Fakhruddin did mention he is suffering at an acute level of webinars, as I think he has 5 webinars to attend today. So thank you so much, everyone. Even though you all are bombarded with webinars all around, you all have decided to be part of this one. And thank you for being part of this. Now, going back to the topic technology, as you have seen during this entire month, technology is definitely inevitable. It is part of our life. And what would have described it better than this current condition? Now, when we talk about the life after COVID, I'm sure we are all eagerly waiting to go back. With all the precautions, this is how our eye care delivery system is going to look like. We have a tried and tested business model, something which you have brick and mortar practice that many people like to call. Now, if you would see on this presentation, I've underlined the word traditional. The reason I say this traditional and not the standard eye care delivery system is because things are changing so rapidly, and it has been effective in this couple of weeks or a month, that it is soon looking that this system might be more on a traditional side versus what we're going to see in the future. Now, I'm sure you are all aware of all these things, whether it's Zoom, GoToMeeting, Facebook. This has been where we live. We're also aware of Google Assistants. I'm sure all of us have been aware of, and I'm sure many of you are using it. All the gamers joining these sessions, you all are aware of the VR, the Oculus, and some of them are also aware of the 3D printing, which is been around, and the buzz has been around for quite some time. And I'm sure you all will be wondering, why am I talking about these things in an eye care session? Well, here is the connection. All of this is already part of eye care. Yes, it is. When we talk about all the video calling platforms, that's how the telehealth is being served in some or the other fashion. When we talk about Google Assistants, which is also a term for artificial intelligence, is where we use clinical screening. When we talk about 3D printing, the lot of frames that are now being printed through 3D printing, and also contact lenses are considered to be printed by this technology. And VR, as we know, is being used for ocular training for low vision as well as binocular vision. So here are the 3 top things which I feel is very important for us as an optometrist to be aware of as a technology, and that is important at this current point. Telemedicine, artificial intelligence and machine learning, virtual reality, and augmented reality. So I'm going to begin with telemedicine. As we know that it is broadly classified into 2 types. One is synchronous, which is exactly what we are doing right now, a live video conferencing, Wherein asynchronous, where I send you a text and you look at it at your convenience and you respond back. I have done an entire session on telemedicine on this exact same platform. That was my first presentation. So if you want to learn more on details regarding telemedicine, please feel free to look at on the YouTube. I'm going to dive more on the other topics in this session. Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence, yes, it is the buzzword. I'm sure everyone has heard about it, has been aware about this. But for those who are, still confused, let me simply explain you what artificial intelligence and machine learning is. Artificial intelligence is simply a bigger concept when and it is also like a branch of science, which basically wants to make uh, computers smart and think like machines. When you talk about smart, it's all about smartphones, whether Alexa, where you say, hey Alexa, Google, all those things are using artificial intelligence. So even without you being aware of it, they are part of your life. I'm sure some of you might have had that creepy incident where you discuss something and the next thing you open your phone and you see ads about it. That is also artificial intelligence. Machine learning is something which always comes along with it. What machine learning is basically an application of artificial intelligence. To give you a quick example, I'm sure some of you might have seen that many a times when YouTube or Google Feed gives you suggestions, they would ask, "Is this relevant? Do you like our suggestions?" If you say no, they would change. So basically, the computer is learning based on your response. That is what machine learning is. They are learning what you like and what would be your preference. Now, this is great concept. How is it, part of eye care? And I'm sure you all will be convinced deeply with this next slide. I'm sure when I saw, I think a year and a half ago, I was fascinated with this entire idea. And I'm sure Google investing in the way they are doing all the research, it would not be late enough where, these things would be part of reality. Now, when I'm talking about these scans, as he rightly mentioned, yes, it is used for diabetic retinopathy, cardiovascular diseases, stroke. But other than that, it is used for many eye care conditions as well. As this is the only live tissue that you can view without any incision, it holds a lot of information which every doctor can use. So diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, AMD, we do know that it is being used, AI is being implemented right now. But what are the other places where this is used? For screening, it is also used for screening ROPs in children or in infants, and also for predicting refractive error for quick refraction for the doctors. So this AI is considered to be your partner in screening. Now, if this is so fantastic, it does have its own plus and minus. So let me quickly walk you through the advantages. Of course, it's quick, easy, it's cost effective, it has early detection, there are minimum or no human errors or biases. It has ability to, compensate for the limited human resource that we have, and it is also accessible for mass population. Having said that, it does have quite a few limitations. One is definitely it currently lacks accuracy. Even though this is fantastic, artificial intelligence or machine learning works on algorithm given by humans. If there's something that is missing, they cannot detect. And that is why it is very, very evident. The second thing that I would like to talk about is it cannot compensate in-person eye exam. It is a fantastic tool at this point for screening, but still it requires a lot more learning and algorithm backend. Also, the other side effect or the other part of artificial intelligence block is there is something which is known as a black hole, where the machine might detect correct information in some conditions while not in others. To give you an example, it has been reported that suppose a fundus image is being sent out, say from Zeiss, and another image is captured from Topcon. The same AI program which is written that works for a Zeiss fundus image might not work for a TopCon fundus image. So these are a lot of technological limitations that we have right now, which still needs a lot of work to be done. And like any technology, it does have issues with regulations and privacy. Going back to something which I'm sure many of the gamers love is virtual reality. I'm sure everyone might have experienced it at some point. Virtual reality, what is it? It is a buzzword, but it literally is what the word says. You are going or immersed into a complete virtual world which does not exist based on the equipment or the device that you wear on the eye, versus augmented reality, which I'm sure might sometimes be confusing, but it's something which adds element to your current surrounding. For all the Pokemon lovers, Pokemon Go, the game, which was massive hit, was based on augmented reality. Now, where is it used? For contact lens and glasses experiences. I do know I have experiences myself. Currently, there are many, opticals who are using iPads to show the patient or the customer, how your vision would be with progressives or with contact lenses. I know there are companies like J&J have designed programs where they make you wear the VR device and you will be able to experience life with glasses and life with contact lenses. That gives an in-person experience for the patient to make quick decisions. Same thing with progressive lenses. Another thing where VR or virtual reality is used is vision therapy. And because it is designed in a way which works similar to our eyes, there are two different, slightly different images which are being showed on the devices, and when they overlap, you do have the 3D image, and that is why it works great for several vision therapy systems. It is also used for glaucoma and perimetry testing. It is also used for surgical training because it can create that entire virtual world. Many doctors are using this for surgical training. Low vision as well. There are several researches which are going on how to help these people with very low spectrum vision to get experience of some vision which otherwise would not be possible, and also for trying on glasses. As I said earlier, with contact lenses, it's something similar on that. Now, when we look at all these things, it is definitely fascinating. But as we were talking about AI and ML, this also has its advantages and limitations. Advantages, of course, it's an amazing patient experience. Imagine wearing and seeing a whole new world. I'm sure we all love it. When it goes to training, we have seen, especially in vision therapy, that there are many patients who have shown better compliance. It's user friendly because it feels a little cool. It's all tech savvy. It helps in early detection and treatment, and it is also used for monitoring progress. In case for the patient to actually see how they are doing, say after a vision therapy session. And again, there are no human biases. When we talk about limitations, of course, there are many devices which are still at a beta testing level, and it is not available in the market. Some of them are very expensive, and it is again technologically dependent system. So we still have a lot of work to be done. Now, when you look at all these things, I'm sure you would feel, okay, this all looks good, but is it practically there? I'm going to give you a glimpse, just a glimpse of some of the companies which I have picked and chose to show you where it is right now in the eye care industry. Mojo Vision lenses. I would recommend everyone to look up for this company. They have created an augmented reality contact lenses. This is exactly how your Fitbit, it will show you the running, the distance, your pulse, your heart rate. They have an FDA approved contact lens design. It's still at the beta testing level. It is not available in the market, but it has got an FDA approved material which can actually show you everything in front of your eye. Something I'm sure some of you are aware about, the Google glasses. It is something similar, but on contact lenses. And they are doing a fantastic work and research on this. Another thing which I am really happy to share is from LB Prasad Center of Eye Innovations, is their intelligent vision assessment. They call it OOM. This device is a VR based, a virtual reality based device, and it is used for testing multiple things, whether it's macular degeneration, retinal screening, glaucoma, cataracts. So it is used for multiple vision assessments. Again, one from India and one from United States. I'm so passionate about anything that's done in India. So Vivid Vision is a company which is based in Bay Area, and they have developed virtual reality games where you wear the VR and you do all your amblyopia training and also glaucoma testing. Binox is also a cloud-based service which is for vision therapy system. When we talk about retinal screening, I'm sure this is already out there with not just Google investing, but many other companies are around it. I've picked two for one reason. Diagnose is one company that I've worked closely with. The good thing about Diagnose is when you show or you put an image scan, what they do is they not only pick the microaneurysms or hemorrhages or exudates, they also give you the risk level and the probability of getting worsening of the disease. When I'm talking about IDEX, that is the first and the only autonomous FDA approved system, which is basically, I'm sure everyone knows about the autopilot car, auto driven car. This system is something similar. It takes images and it is self-equipped to do the diagnosis without any human requirement or any doctor needing to review the results. So this is what IDEX has been developed. Do check out these companies. When we go into dispensing optics, well, that's not spared as well. Oxido, as I had mentioned earlier about 3D printing, they do take a 3D image of your face and develop something very customized, which will match your style, your material, you pick, and it's very, very personalized type of glasses. And there's another company which is Ditto, which actually what it does, it's really cool. They do have few videos, do check that out as well, wherein you can actually have your face through the laptop camera. It scans and you can try on different glasses. So it's basically a virtual glasses try on platform, and many companies have tied up with them where you can try different frames and brands on their platform. So when you look at all these things, I'm sure we all are scared and we all might be feeling, is my job under any threat? To be very honest, yes and no. Yes is if you're looking at doing something which is very minimal repetitive skills, yes, it might be replaced soon. But if you're looking at specialty skills, then no, your job is very safe. In fact, you have a lot more to contribute. And for all those who have attended, all those who are joining this webinar, I'm sure being an optometrist, you all have the special skills. And thus, I would like to say your job is not under any threat. These are all your current roles that you're looking for, whether it's like optical outlet, corporate, clinical practice, teaching. If you see all this, it has some amount of technology already been incorporated. Whether you're looking at optical outlet, now they have online shopping, they do have iPads and some amount of supportive system to increase the patient experience or the consumer experience. When you look at corporate, they're also doing a lot of virtual conferences, they're doing online trainings, they're also moving and adapting a little technology there. Same with clinical practice and same with teaching. This would have not been possible if you would all have not decided to join and be part of the conference. So this all is changing, and this is a good start. But what I really would like to see you all do or achieve is in these roles. I feel this is how the next generation optometrist would look like. Based on my personal experience, all the companies that I mentioned in my previous slide, they might not really have an exact optometry role for you. But trust me, based on a personal experience, you have a special set of skills. As an optometrist, you understand eyes in and out. When there is any technology or any device being developed, you definitely need engineers, you need designers, but you need optometrists. And that you cannot take away. And I feel it would be great to see you all in all these different roles. I would love to see you, some of you, come up with new technology and own that company. Be a designer. I do know one designer who was part of my podcast as well. You could be a vision therapy technical specialist to help develop these technologies. I do know Shruti, I think she joined this webinar and she was part of a couple of research paper which was done for Binox. So something like this has a very, very important role for all of you to be part of this changing technology. So please do not limit yourself. Don't limit your resources in the knowledge. Yes, you have to learn your optometry skills. There is no way out. That is the basics, which will help you build the next thing and be part of the newer technology. So I'm sure many of us still feel that, oh, our job is in threat. Yes, but along with new technology comes new opportunities. So look at the newer roles that you can achieve, some of which I've listed here, but I would be more than happy to see, if you can come up with another more fascinating or amazing titles for yourself. So I want all of you to be the next generation optometrist, which I'm sure will be like the post-COVID gen optometrist. Also, along with being an optometrist, I personally feel if anyone is interested in being actively being part of all these newer technologies, courses and certifications are the core. These are the top three my favorite platforms where I like to take courses, but feel free to explore and find the one which is best for you. The good thing about these are some of the courses are free to begin with, and you have to pay only if you want a certificate at the end of it. And they do offer courses on AI, ML, virtual reality, all that, and it is a legit course and it is recognized. Another thing that I would like to bring up at this point is most of these courses might not be in eye care, but they are in healthcare. So please do not stick to see, oh, it's not eye care, I'm not going to read or I'm not going to take the course. Take in healthcare and see how you would like to implement it in eye care. I think that is something which is a special quality which you have, because some engineer who is building a device for eye care would not understand eyes better than you. So do take some of the courses, and I would love to see you being part of the newer technology. As I had mentioned earlier, technology is inevitable, so is the change. Whichever path you choose, remember that technology is going to be part of it. And thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think thank you, Ukti, for I think the most important slide was your third last slide where we have new roles as optometrists. I think that's something which is really important, right? So yeah, let's take some questions.
According to you, what will be the best COVID scenario in eye practice? Okay, Rahul has a question.
Yeah.
According
So
to you, what will be the post-COVID scenario in eye care practice? Okay, so Rahul, there are a couple of things that one, of course, telemedicine is suddenly have been the peak. To be very honest, to begin with, things in United States before COVID, there was quite a pushback, or it was still at an early adoption stage where people were still hesitant. But during and post COVID, telemedicine has been immediately picked up, especially in United States, and I definitely see a lot of transition and change in India as well. But the biggest concern I feel currently in India is how do you charge the patient? Being an ophthalmologist, people are aware of paying. For optometrist, that is a big challenge. But if you are providing an optometry care and not just refraction, I am very, very sure that you will be able to charge the patient, because I'm sure everyone would call you and ask you what is the medication, what do I need to do in this condition, and so on and so forth. So one, definitely I feel telemedicine is going to be one huge transition in the practice post-COVID.
yeah, that's very rightly said. I think we are already started with telemedicine and eventually it will become a part of our life. I think because of post-COVID, we are not going to go back into our normal routine where we see 100 patients in an OPD. It's going to be, precise, and telemedicine is going to be a very important role in that place. Let me
Another
just
thing
read
which
some couple of questions.
Sure.
I'm sorry, you were
Just
talking something.
a quick thing here is I do know hospitals where they do have ophthalmologist as a backup would be easier to implement telehealth. But when it comes to private practice, it all depends how have you established. Have you established as an optical outlet or as an optometry clinic? And that will define the telehealth in India. I think that is
Yes.
something where people need to think for newer practices if they're planning to open it.
Yeah, true. And there's one question, how can you use technology in public health, given that, the economicity and easy availability mode, how to use it in terms of public health?
So as far as the public health is concerned, if you are doing individually, I do know there are many organizations specifically at this particular point during the COVID, they have reduced lot of pricing. That, for example, for our platform, our telehealth platform, we did have an onboarding fee, which they have, completely removed just for telehealth so people can get on board. Something similar for public health, I'm sure, understanding the economic status and the requirement of the eye care, many organizations have come together and given those lenient prices so people can quickly implement it. But it all depends from company to company and organization to organization, how you can utilize it in public health.
Yeah, going into that same question, I think this is something connecting. How do we approach these kind of companies? Any idea? And how do we get to know that they require optometrists? Do you have any insights on that?
Oh, okay. So this is something which I would really like to share. My best approach is there are two things that I've seen when I was actually applying. One is there are many companies who do have build your own role. So there you have to decide what is your role, what is your place. So do a good research on, what do you think you can contribute in the company. Another thing is even if you don't see any role at that point, send them an email through contact us. Just tell them this is my background, this is my area of interest, this is how I would like to contribute to your company. Give them your importance. You have to sell yourself as an optometrist, because if you don't approach them, they would not come to you. They'll go to ophthalmologist or other experts or scientists. But if you feel you can contribute, just send out emails to them through contact us and they will respond. Trust me on that. They do.
Yeah, being at the back office of one of the company, we are hearing it from the professional itself. I think, and
Also, you have to remember they might not hire you immediately or they might not have a position open, but that will start the conversation. They will at least know that, okay, there is someone they can use when needed.
that's right. Yeah. And this is more towards academics, but how do you think we can apply these new rules in teaching and teaching to optometry students? Being a lecturer, this is becoming our main concern. So how do you think that these things would incorporate in teaching optometry students?
Do you mean the just to get a more clarity on this question, if you want to unmute this person, that would be great. Otherwise, are you talking about teaching on AI and the newer technology or using the technology for teaching?
I think using AI and everything for teaching, that's what is the main concern.
So talking about using AI in teaching, there are two things. One, approach these companies if you want to get. One is, of course, you can take an AI course and teach them. Second, if you want to, if you approach these companies who are working on AI and say you want to use it for teaching and training, they do provide a lot of educational material for you, because that is also promoting their own product, right? So it's something where, how Bosch and Lomb has this master class, which is more on teaching how to fit their contact lenses. Similarly, if you approach these companies, even they are learning. So it would not be a ready book or a textbook which is ready for you to, just start talking and teaching, but they'll give you good material for your students to be aware of something like these exist. So I think
Okay,
approaching these companies would be really good. And as I said, the companies are very good at responding.
that's right. Uh, okay, how you target patients who is not aware of technology in more depth. People usually living in poor social economic areas. I mean, how to get them to these kind of platforms? Is there any ideas?
So there are two things which I would like to say. One is the current the technology, especially I can talk about India. I'm sorry, I'm not expert enough to talk about Malaysia, but as far as India is concerned, lucky enough, Geo has really made everyone's life technology friendly. But all these, whether you're talking about telehealth or AR or all these newer technologies that are coming in, they do try to make it as user friendly as possible. Of course, not everything would be immediately user friendly, and that's why some of the things are at beta testing, some of things are not immediately implementable. But for example, just to give you a quick example on telehealth side, because that is something that I work day in and out. For say for older population, say like 60 plus, they might not be able to download an app, navigate, and do the testing that you want. But they can click a link and open a window which gives them an opportunity to chat or do a video call. So the companies are coming up with simpler options to make it more like very, very easy and accessible. All they have to click a link, the window opens on its own. The doctor will, start the video call, talk to them, and take all the information instead of asking the patient to write everything, get the history, and then do the consultation. So every company is trying to make it user friendly, but of course that's going to be a gradual step. It's not going to be something immediate. But I do know many companies are working towards it.
Yeah, I think making it user friendly would definitely help in people who have less of technological depth, because as you said, they are working on like two buttons, yes or no, click there. So
Yeah.
it's the thing is, if you see green, yes, red, no. So something like this is I've seen some applications have now modified into those things where it's very easy, and you are talking to it and somebody is responding, and whatever you are talking is also very easy on the screen. So that's a
Yeah.
very good keyword. I think making it more easy is going to help. Yeah.
They actually use another word. I am actually having a brain freeze here, but that's basically they walk the patient through the steps. So each yes, no will
uh,
walk you through where you have to. There's a
yeah,
technical
that's
word
right.
for it. I am kind of freezing.
Yeah, the walk. Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, that they will guide the patient step by step to their walk the patient through the steps. They're absolutely right.
Exactly.
uh,
Yeah.
Okay, let's take one last question about contact lens dispensing post-COVID. So what happens is the government has said, we can't be touching the patient, and we ourselves will not be comfortable to go close to the patient and all that.
Right.
So what do you think would be the role of AI or role of these technologies in, contact lens dispensing or new patients experience? How would that help?
So basically, I think there are a couple of things. As when you're talking about contact lenses, one thing is what I am looking at, or I think majority of the optometrists are looking at, are the younger population. Of course, specialty contact lenses is very difficult to fit, and training them for that is a whole new, whole different chapter which I don't want to touch. But talking about your regular soft contact lenses, you can train them virtually. You can train them without touching them. So there are being protocols that are being put in place where if you have to virtually train them just like how you're doing right now, they can be trained insertion removal, the care virtually. So there are these platforms who are trying to use these kind of steps where you can virtually train the patients how to use it. It is something where instead of a patient who's buying contact lenses online, looking at some YouTube videos and learning and messing up their eyes, instead of that process, what the doctors are trying to do is take the initiative and walk the patient through each step virtually. But that is one way how you can go. But other than that, like if someone just cannot open an eye, I feel right now the only option is to bring them to your clinic. There is another company which I am not recollecting the name, but they do have plungers similar to how you have for specialty contact lenses, where you place your contact lenses and it is used for soft contact lenses. So for people who just don't open the eye, there are plunger system which helps to insert and remove the lenses. Instead of just for specialty, it could also be used for soft lenses. I am not able to remember the name, but I do know that does exist. If this person, whoever has asked the question, you send me the Q&A sheet, and I'll look back and send you the link of the company who is using that or has developed that.
Yeah, sure. I think virtual is the way to go. As you very rightly mentioned, there are so many videos up on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. But probably they are not the accurate ones. We as optometrists could actually do some virtual training where we give them the accurate steps, and they do it properly rather than messing up the eye, and that would be the way forward, I guess.
Right.
Just one last question. I think we can end with the question answer with that one last. Will the new technologies impact on the lecturer's profession? And if yes, how do you overcome this? Will it affect lecturer's profession?
I would say no, if you are updated with your knowledge. If you are teaching me how to use how do I say, if you're teaching me how to use a manual lensometer, yes, it is going to affect your thing. But if you're teaching me AI and newer technologies, no. As a lecturer, when you're talking about lecturer, I personally feel with the new virtual has been a boon for me. Like, who would be listening to my lecture when I'm sitting in United States? Well, with this technology, you are able to listen to it. So with newer technology as a lecturer comes a lot of responsibility to be updated. The more you are learned about it, the more you are using or learning about the technology in whatever field you like. It could be contact lenses, vision therapy, myopia. It is there everywhere. Pick what you like, and if you talk about it, it is not going to affect your thing. If you're not updated with knowledge, yes, it would affect like any other profession.
Yeah, just one small point. Being into academics, you have to be one step ahead in the updating yourself rather than your students, because your students are also on those technologies. So you have to spend probably more hours and be more updated, as he mentioned, than your students, because they can backfire you. So I think
They
the
all have
profession
those,
will still be
trust
there.
me.
That's right. So the profession will still be there, and very rightly mentioned, we have to get ourselves updated and get used to the new normal, which is not kind of a normal, but an abnormal. Just quoting somebody from the chat earlier on. So thank you very much, Ukti. I think it was a wonderful eye opener, and we really enjoyed, and we have a lot of key home messages to take with us sessions. So let me just share my screen, and we do have a session tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a session by Optom Shukri Rafiuddin, and he is going to talk to us about electrophysiology for vision as an optometrist. So please tune in tomorrow. The timings are mentioned. It's 2:30 in the afternoon Indian time and 5 p.m. in the evening Malaysian time. Please tune in tomorrow. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and see you all again tomorrow. Bye.